since we haven't spoken for a while, there's been a lot of fights that went by. There's
Yeah.
some fights that been signed. I want to get some of your thoughts, your predictions, and also your reactions on some of them. Um, where do we start? I mean, how about we start with a classic one? We've already seen the 135 division take its toll. All these guys have basically passed their test when it comes to like the three kings, four kings, whatever you want to chop it up. I like to put it as, what are your beliefs on if a guy like Tank Davis fights a guy like Shakur Stevenson? Uh, what were your thoughts on that? Who would you side on, and how do you see that fight going out?
I mean, Tank has a tremendous power, and it's just a matter of time where he's breaking people down, and once he get his power in there, that's pretty much what it all comes down to with Tank's fight. Now, Shakur is a different story. Shakur is smart. Shakur is very cautious. Shakur has great offense and defense, and I think that it's going to be very difficult to get in and do what Tank usually does with everybody else, but with Shakur, I think that's going to be a very very difficult uh to get in there and grab his power shots. I think that's going to be a very very difficult thing to do when it comes down to Shakur.
Who would you favor if they ever got to, get it on?
I got to go with Shakur. I think Shakur's jab, I think Shakur's speed and his way of fighting is very difficult for anybody out there.
Right, right. And then say if Devin Haney wanted to stay in campaign at the 35 division, where does he fall in this place?
Man, Devin got good jab. And again, even with Tank, it's going to be very difficult for him to get the jabs out with Devin. He's taller. He moves around. And he's not willing to stay in there. I know that Lomachenko got in a couple punches in there and made it very very difficult for him. But Tank is different. Tank is not a volume puncher. He's gonna try to get you with it, and I think it's gonna be very hard to land those big shot when you get guys like Shakur or Devin not staying in there and using that jab. But when it comes down to Shakur and Devin, I think that's a hell of a fight. I think Shakur is gonna slip a lot of those shots, and I don't know. I think it's gonna be a really good fight when it comes down to it. It's gonna be a chess match fight, though. A lot of people might not like it, but but when it comes down to it, you know, uh, I still got to go with Shakur in this one.
I like it. I like it. So if you had to rank them, you're going Shakur, Devin, and Tank.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, but of course with the power, like Tank's not on top on that one.
Right, right. So
'Cause with Tanks, he can get in there. It can be over in with one punch. And that's the thing with Tank is he's a variable because of his ways. He can be in the top. Depends on how he fights. It's just a matter of landing those big shots. And if he can land those big shots, it's game over. You know,
it's boxing,
so
right?
boxing. But when it comes down to technicality, you got to give it to the guys, Devin and Shakur. Haney and Shakur, who has more of that ability of boxing and stylistically when it comes down to winning by points.
Mm, I like it. Watching Devin Haney against Lomachenko and you being, the fighter eye that you have, would you believe that he struggles with southpaws? So going against the guys like Tank and Shakur could be an issue?
I think he struggles with the guy who comes forward and slip those shots because he's a long range fighter. So when he's punching and when he throws that jab and somebody slips it and he gets in there, then he's at the vulnerable situation or position to get hit with big shots. With Lomachenko is he slip and throws. With Tank is he'll slip, but he won't really, he'll take a little because he's trying to load up and all of that stuff. So I think that might give Haney a little bit of leeway to step out, to counter or all of that stuff, or to be defensive. But with Lomachenko, it was just tap and go, tap and go, tap and go, and he didn't have the time to be defensive when it comes down to it. You know, he was getting caught because he was slipping the shots, and as he was pulling the punches, he was getting hit with it more. And I think with Tank, he's gonna load up, and I think unless he punches at the same time like he did with
Right.
Garcia, which could be a vulnerable situation for Haney.
Mhm.
But again, those are the things that Tank has is being able to time well. And if he can time these guys well enough, then it's going to be very difficult for anybody